Julia Roberts leads a perfect life as a rich Southern woman until she finds out husband Dennis Quaid is having an affair in Something to Talk About, one of 6 new films we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, including Denzel Washington's latest thriller, also a love story starring Keanu Reeves, and a documentary on how a hot fashion designer puts on a show with all of those great-looking models. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is Something to Talk About. And for Julia Roberts, after a few disappointing movies, this one, I think, is a return to form. She's smart and likable and surrounded with a first-rate cast in a human comedy about cheating hearts on a horse farm in the South. Early in the film, she discovers that her husband, played by Dennis Quaid, has been having an affair, so she throws him out of the house and finds it almost impossible to consider ever forgiving him.
I really don't care if you're sorry. I'm not the kind of person, Eddie, who can just let it go. I want you to leave.
Her sister, played by Kira Sedgwick, is even more direct in her treatment of the evil philanderer.
Here.
I'll get her.
Robert Duvall and Jenna Rollins play the parents who would like their daughter to get back with her husband for several reasons.
You're aware that we're involved in a real estate deal with Eddie and his dad. Emma Ray mentioned anything about that to you at all?
Yes, Daddy, I'm aware of it. Wheeler Farm project. I'm very aware of it.
So you know how uncomfortable it makes all of us for you and Eddie to be having these kind of problems in the middle of what could be a very lucrative situation for everyone?
But the Roberts character is enraged, and at a meeting of a local women's charity group, she blows the roof off of small-town hypocrisy.
Yes, I was just wondering if anybody else here is my husband. Hello. Lorene was just telling me how he was kind enough to help her out by sleeping with her to try to make Tuffy straighten up, and I was just wondering, you know, if this is a regular service he provides to all my friends or what.
Something to Talk About is a movie where Julia Roberts gives the local folks a lot to talk about, but it's also a movie with rich humor and a big heart and a lot of good performances, including Robert Duvall, who has some terrific double takes as a single-minded father who finds out that he's not the king of his own castle. The movie was directed by Lasse Hallström, who also made My Life as a Dog and What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And once again, here he shows a delicate comic touch with characters that we get to know and care about. I
like it too. You left out one name, though, I think is really key to the success of this film, and that's Callie Curry, who wrote the script here. Mm-hmm. It's a very smart script, hard-edged, particularly with the sister, Kira Sedgwick. And Callie Curry wrote Thelma and Louise. And this is a picture where, and won an Oscar for it, this is the film, again, where she's showing women who are under the thumb coming out and being strong. And it's a good story, again, written smartly. Okay, next movie, and our next film is quite entertaining. It's Unzipped, a high-energy, revealing documentary on fashion designer Isaac Mizrahi and how he puts together a fashion show, from inspiration to design to cutting cloth to staging the show itself to dealing with the supermodels to reading his own reviews, and boy, is he neurotic about his reviews. For his 1994 fall collection, Mizrahi was inspired by the great Eskimo documentary Nanook of the North. Now imagine his surprise, no, his shock, when he sees what rival designer Jean-Paul Gaultier is showing, as revealed on the cover of Women's Wear Daily, just out days before Mizrahi's own show.
Oh, my God. Take it away. Take it away.
Models, of course, have become very big stars, and Mizrahi has to work with the very biggest in this show, including Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, and Linda Evangelista. He wants to show the models changing behind a scrim during the show, and that creates a conflict.
Are they going to want to do that?
We're going to have to do it. It's not going to be...
see us in bras underwear?
Maybe.
No.
Last year, the great Robert Altman made a very bad film about the fashion industry called Pret-a-Porter, Ready to Wear. Well, this is the film I think he would have liked to have made because it reveals all of the vanity and the talent and the insecurity and the coziness with fashion editors that Altman tried to create. The time flew by as I watched Unzipped. I do recommend it.
I've seen it twice. I enjoyed it both times.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much I found out about fashion designing
Right.
and about this man, Mizrahi,
Yeah.
who really reveals himself in the movie.
He's
And one
very
of the
open.
things that's interesting, I mean, a lot of people are movie trivia experts, you know, and I get kind of tired of that. He remembers not only every movie he's seen, but he's a critic who's able to pick out the key scenes, and then he's able to translate them and draw from them in his work, and he draws from everywhere. Anything that that appears in front of his eyes is potential for a new show, and you see there the creative process at work. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating. I follow fashion a little bit, and I'll tell you, I've not particularly cared for his designs, but boy, I got to like him in this film. And the other thing is, I just mentioned this business about the coziness with the editors. Boy, can you believe the cooperation and the conflicts that are involved in playing up to one editor and editors advising him back and forth? The documentary really shows a lot of good stuff.
It's apart from being about fashion or being about a person, just as a documentary, it's very well made. When we come back, Denzel Washington is a cop pursuing a killer generated by virtual reality in the sci-fi thriller Virtuosity.
This is not a game, but Sid is still from the game.
He only enjoys playing against his favorite opponent, and that's me.
I am the future. And you!
You're losing your sense of humor.
Denzel Washington is on the trail of a killer who lives inside a computer chip in that scene from Virtuosity, a movie that successfully moves between the real world and the world of virtual reality inside a futuristic computer game. In the film, programmers for a high-tech computerized police training program have created a killer for the cops to train against. He's named Sid 6.7, and he combines the program personalities of 200 killers, including Charles Manson, John Wayne Gacy, and the man who killed Denzel Washington's family.
And I have to tell you, killing for real, it was a real rush. Which god would that be?
Washington is an ex-cop, now a convicted killer, but he's released from prison to go after Sid 6.7.
Sid's too complex to design. Lindenmeyer had to grow him up, psychologically, like a real person with multiple personality disorder. The program learns like a child. Much faster. It's like you put all these killers in Sid's nursery and let him watch them cannibalize each other.
And only the strong ones survive.
Catching Sid is a little more complicated than sitting at a keyboard. Sid is able to use his artificial intelligence to escape from the machine by synthesizing a body out of silicon, and once freed from the program, he continues to evolve on his own. That's Russell Crowe as Sid. Kelly Lynch plays Washington's partner, and when Sid kidnaps her daughter, it leads to a showdown in which reality and virtual reality both come into play.
Hey, Parker!
Ready?
Yeah.
Come on! Yeah! Now!
Seems like there's an unwritten law in all movie thrillers that they throw the plot overboard in the last 30 minutes and cut to an extended chase and fight sequence. But Virtuosity has a neat twist as the paradoxes of virtual reality make the final showdown much more complex than it might have been. In fact, the whole movie maintains that level of intrigue. In a way, I know it's just the same old formula about the disgraced cop who's given back his badge and set out to track down the deranged killer. But in another way, both in the story and in the visuals, the movie shows a lot of imagination, and I liked it.
Well, you know what? I think the visuals are more interesting than the story. And I'm impressed with both the net and this picture that high-tech, computer-based imagery in movies is being done very, very well. I just don't feel they can put together a human story. It's almost as if it works against it by having so much time focusing on the screen with computer printouts that the human factor is lost. Denzel Washington, easily one of our most charismatic actors, is not have any real emotion here in this picture. I realize he's playing a tough guy. Oh, I didn't find him being...
Oh, come on.
And then Kelly Lynch, I thought she was boring. In other words, there wasn't a human being in this film that I cared
Gene,
about.
First of all, when you talk about all the computer screens, there aren't many computer screens in this movie. There really aren't.
I'm talking about the high-tech, I'm using a catchphrase, high-tech stuff.
That's not the right catchphrase. You better get a better one. The thing about the killer, Russell Crowe's character, that's so interesting is that he has within inside of him 200 different personalities to draw on.
Not one of them interesting. Not really.
I think it's a very interesting performance, a very interesting villain. Really is.
I thought he was just a big thug, basically.
Well, I guess you kind of missed the point.
Okay.
Coming up next, Keanu Reeves stars in a new romance from the director of Like Water for Chocolate. Our review of A Walk in the Clouds is next.
ex-soldier finds himself swept away by a beautiful woman and the wonderland of her family vineyard in A Walk in the Clouds, an epic-scale romance starring Keanu Reeves and a lovely newcomer to American movies, Aitana Sanchez-Gijon. They meet on the way to Northern California. She's pregnant, and he agrees to pretend to be her husband so her father won't kill her. And right away, we want them to live happily ever after. Now, that's what's called chemistry.
You're very kind to do this for me.
And the baby. Doing it for the both of you.
And we both thank you.
Both welcome.
Her father, played by Giancarlo Giannini, and it's great to see him again, is outraged at his daughter's marriage to a gringo.
This will not stand so long as I draw breath.
There are more immediate problems that same night as a frost threatens to ruin the family's grapes. Here's where you know you're watching a special film. This is a scene that really doesn't move the plot along. It's just there because it could happen, and it's beautiful, and it does reveal character.
If you're going to help, help!
Butterfly. There's the heat downstairs. Follow me. Up. Down.
There is history to this vineyard, as the padrone of the family, played by Anthony Quinn, explains. He's less hostile to this young man.
All our vines come from this one. It's not just the root of Las Nubes. It's the root of our lives, a victorious life. Now that you are part of all this, a part of us, it is the root of your life.
A Walk in the Clouds was directed by Alfonso Arau, who created the surprise hit Like Water for Chocolate. His skills have not been diminished by working with a big budget, which traps a lot of directors when they go to Hollywood. He rises to the occasion here, creating one memorable set piece in the vineyard after another, and all the while, he never loses sight of, and we certainly don't, this couple in love. It's a marvelous entertainment, most romantic. I recommend it highly.
I love this movie. I loved it. I loved every single thing about it. I love the look, and they have a lot of scenes in this movie that are computer enhanced to make the vineyard and the valley look even more beautiful and even more idealized than it could possibly look in real life.
It's like a dream world.
Yes.
This is Camelot.
And every single performance is right there, including Anthony Quinn, who is key. And you know, you're aware of the contrivance. Every time Keanu Reeves is about to leave, Anthony Quinn pops up and gives him another reason to stay. You know that's a contrivance, but you want him to pop up. You like it when he tells him why he should stay.
It's a beautiful film. Coming up next, the winner of this year's Sundance Film Festival, the brothers McMullen.
I think I'm going to hell. Why are you going to hell this time?
I saw our next film, The Brothers McMullen, at this year's Sundance Film Festival, where it won the grand prize. And while I was watching it, I realized it had been a long time since I'd seen a contemporary American film in which ordinary characters talk in an ordinary way about things like God and sin and living according to your religious beliefs. The movie tells the story of the lives and loves of three Irish-American brothers, one of them married, who for various reasons have all moved back into the family home on Long Island. Here the two younger brothers discuss their search for love. They're played by Edward Burns, who also directed the movie, and Mike McMullen.
Man is like a banana. Strong and firm, bright and phallic. And he's protected by his all-important shield. But when a woman comes along, you know, she sees this bright phallic beast and she wants it. But she's not happy with it the way it is. She wants to see what's inside. So she starts to peel away the all-important shield.
The youngest brother runs into a girl he used to like in high school, and they get into a conversation that somehow combines flirting with religion.
What's a single Catholic girl going to do if she doesn't get married? I mean, I can't have premarital sex. But if I do have sex, I can't use birth control. But if I don't use birth control and I get pregnant, I can't have an abortion, so...
The middle brother also has a relationship forming with a woman whose path he keeps crossing until finally they decide to go out on a date. She's played by Maxine Bonds.
But I knew that I'd like you from the first time that we met here on the stoop when you stole this apartment from me. I knew, I guess I knew that I'd like you.
The Brothers McMullen really does try to deal seriously with the moral issues in the lives of these Catholic brothers who are not saints, but do think seriously about the morality of their choices. And yet, This is not a deep religious picture. In fact, it's more of a human comedy, mixing deep issues with wonderfully colorful dialogue and comic situations. It was made on a shoestring, about $24,000, but there was never a moment when I wasn't involved.
I think what I found so refreshing is that typically when you have brothers in a movie, you think of one thing, sibling rivalry. They got to be at each other's throats. And these guys have, they're friends. They're dear friends. And they are troubled, and they want to help each other. And they're maybe challenged and jealous of each other a little bit. It's more life as it is really lived. And I think that's what you find so fresh and so appealing about the picture. It doesn't have great goals, but it achieves something very special because it's different than what we normally get to see. These people are not out to one-up each other. They're really out to move along through the world together. When we come back, a young woman seeks both love and a career while trying to break away from her traditional family in Double Happiness.
Andrew is a nice fellow.
A nice Chinese boy.
You look wonderful. I look like Connie Chung.
The Century Plaza, offering the finest in luxury service and Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower, a Westin hotel.
Our next film, called Double Happiness, is the latest in a string of very entertaining films about Asian Americans, or in this case, Asian Canadians. It's the story of a self-assured young woman who is trying, sort of, to lead her own independent life while trying, sort of, to not anger her very traditional father. It's a delicate balancing act she's trying to pull off. Sandra Oh, a wonderful new face in the movies, plays the character of Jade here on An Arranged Date.
Please don't take this the wrong way, but my parents put me up to this date.
No.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't my idea either.
Jade is very smart. She doesn't like the date, so she tells a lie that's certain to put her parents off the guy.
He made me pay the bill. No. Yes. Wow.
One of the charms of Double Happiness is that the character of Jade is a whole lot smarter than she appears to be. She toys with a boyfriend, and as a would-be actress, she also toys with a director who is looking to cast her as a typical Chinese character.
Good, okay. Try it with an accent.
What kind of accent do you want me to do? A Parisian accent? Excuse me. Yes, a very good Chinese accent I can do for you.
That's a very cute scene. It always works in the movies. We've seen it played black. We've seen it played Latino. It always happens with stereotyping. What energizes this story is that her uncle from China comes to visit, and she pretends to be more traditional to please him and her father, but the guest from the Far East is a lot more modern than she suspects. It's a good story, well told by a newcomer, writer-director Mina Shum. Double Happiness is the name of the film. Look for it as it opens slowly around the country.
It is a really good film, and she is a wonderful and fresh performer, and it's told through the woman's point of view, the director and the character, both women, in a way that kind of gives what could be familiar material a slightly different twist. And, you know, thinking about these last three films, one about Mexican-Americans in California, one about Irish-Americans in New York, now these Chinese-Canadians, we live in a wonderfully rich culture here in North America where all these people have come from all over the world, and they bring their traditions, and at the same time they interact with the larger culture.
And now we're getting to see them on the big screen.
Yeah, it deals with the food, with the spirituality, with the relationships, with the traditions. It's interesting.
What has happened is that people have finally realized if you're not seeing your story on the big screen, don't look to Hollywood. Do it yourself.
Make it yourself.
Make it yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs up for Julia Roberts in Something to Talk About, featuring another bright script from writer Callie Curry. 2 thumbs up for Unzipped, the wonderful documentary by Douglas Keeve on fashion designer Isaac Mizrahi. A split vote on Virtuosity, the thriller with Denzel Washington. Roger liked it all the way through. I couldn't relate to any of the characters. 2 thumbs up for A Walk in the Clouds, the marvelous romance starring Keanu Reeves and newcomer Aitana Sanchez-Gijon. Director Alfonso Arau has created a very special film. It opens in theaters across the country next week. And 2 more thumbs up for The Brothers McMullen, the rites of passage film about 3 brothers who have a lot of growing up to do when it comes to women. It opens in New York and Los Angeles next week and wider later in the month. And finally, 2 more thumbs up for Double Happiness, another fine film about the Asian experience in Northern America. A whole lot of
water and the people who live on it. Kevin Costner stars as a mutant named the Mariner, who in this scene visits a floating island that works as a trading post.
Pure dirt. So what's the word? We trading or not?
Everyone in Waterworld is afraid of the smokers, who are sort of seagoing Hell's Angels. They're led by Dennis Hopper, who seems to have a lock on all the great bad guy parts recently.
Thailand is not just our destination, but it is our destiny!
There are some amazing sights in Waterworld, all right, but unfortunately, the story and the characters don't measure up. Costner's character is a sort of fish man with gills and webbed feet. He can breathe underwater. Unfortunately, the Mariner's personality is also as cold as a fish, and so the key relationship between him and the woman and child never developed satisfactorily. Because I didn't care enough about the characters, the movie never really came alive for me, despite those amazing sets. I'm Roger Ebert.
Well, reviewers may not give it a thumbs up, but moviegoers certainly are. For the second straight week, Waterworld takes the #1 spot at the box office.